All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the AGFFA report, the week two recap, week three preview. I'm here again with the typical crew, Jeff of the Puppies of Purgatory,
So,
and what's up, man? And Dan Howcroft with the Beer Guzzlers,
Hey now.
who actually got his first win
hello.
this past week. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, you
Well
know what? That
done.
reminds me. I did keep track of our picks from last week, and
Oh, I did too. I'm keeping track. I went 7-1.
yeah,
How'd
that's
you
what I
do?
got you at 7-1.
Oh, dude, that must have been I went like 500.
You did. You went 4-4.
Great.
You picked Bubba
My
Gump,
my only one
yourself,
my only one was
Scabs. So
my loss was the pups and whip last week, and I had said that if Tom Brady goes off and he's got the stack with Mike Evans, if he would have went off, he would have had he'd have been in it more. But as it turns out, Brady had kind of a, I mean, they won. He played well, but he didn't go off. That's for sure.
Well, when we get to my team, we can talk about Tom Brady specifically. So, but let's go ahead and move to week three. Let's just put that in the past
Okay,
and
well
move
let's
on.
we're
we're
on to
going to review.
Cincinnati.
No, we're going to review week two first. And the
Uh,
first thing I wanted to say is I want to put some congratulations out there to Shook. He put another entry into the 200 club.
Yep.
mhm.
Um,
Good
there's some
job,
things,
Shook. Good job, Justin.
and
Well
I want I
done.
want to I want to say something else too. Well, a couple of things I want to say. This is the last week of the first round of divisional play, so it's kind of important. We've got a couple of undefeated teams within the divisions that are playing. That's going to be fun. Um, So we'll see about those. Now, I know, Gus, you're going to talk about standings and stats and stuff, and that's good. But I wanted to mention something too. Um, I took a look at the ESPN points for, points against stuff, and I took a look at the undefeated teams at this point. That's Shook, Whip, Ballzilla, Hook'em, and Jockstraps. And Shook Shook has got the I think he's got the most points against. He's got 361 points for his team, and he's got the most points against,
Mhm.
279. So that tells me he's been playing a tougher schedule and putting on points. Putting on. Of course, it's only 2 weeks, but that tells you something about that team. It's pretty strong. And with
Yep.
the jock straps, on the other hand, have the points against are 197. I think that's the lowest in the league right
It
now.
is. It is.
And
He's got the
points
easiest
for,
schedule so far.
Well, one of
and
those games was against me, so I
well, yeah,
I only put
there's
up like
something.
100 on him. So
Yeah. So I just found that interesting. I think it tells you something about the strength of the teams. The other thing I wanted to mention too is of the 0-2 teams. There are several 0-2 teams as well. Um, Monty's team has been facing the hardest road. He's got 345 points scored against his team.
Mhm.
Um, when you look at, he's been averaging like 130, 140, I think 140 points a game, something like that. And he's facing teams that are averaging 170 points a game, which in our league is 170 is pretty good, and it's a fucking miracle for me with my team. So David's calling.
All right.
So anyway, I wanted to make that kind of put that statement out there about the 0-2 teams and the 2-0 teams, and kind of give a feel for what they've been facing, what they've been scoring, and who they've been playing. So
oh
it's
yeah.
It's a good point.
kind of
Yeah, and
interesting
I
to take
looked
a
at the
look at.
same thing earlier or last night too, getting ready for this as well. And I had the same analysis as like, dude, Shook. It's like every couple of years he just pops up and he's got a team that is on paper you look at and go, it's all right, and then it turns out
Right.
to be really good. And this year he's proving it with the strength of his schedule, and then also looking at Napalm Jockstrap, and I was like, dude, he is kind of like the Bills in the NFL, because you have to say, well, who are they played? And the Bills haven't really played anybody. I mean,
Well, they're playing the Rams this week, so we'll see what happens there. But
we'll see. And when Napalm Jockstrap runs into somebody who can actually put up more than 100 points a game, we'll see how they do. But right now we got David. What's up, man?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Cool. I'm just kicking back writing the paper for school. Figured I'd join in. Sorry about that whole snafu in the other league.
What snafu? Are you talking about trying to pick up a guy you dropped?
Yeah.
You talking about Saquon?
Well, man,
Yeah, I think
you know
it was.
what? I should have probably said something before the season started, but just so you know, you're not the first owner who tried that. We had another owner who did it too, and they had to back out of a deal. So, just so you know, it's not just you. That's why I put it out there on Facebook, because I was like, if it happened one time, it might be a fluke. If it happens twice, well, I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't know.
Hey,
So,
all in all, I think Pete paid a fair price for him. So it's
I
not like he
think
got
there
it for a buck.
absolutely.
was pretty much a
Absolutely.
mad scramble to get after him, to get up to try to buy him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look at. I'm sure you probably already know this, David. But if you look at Saquon Barkley, he's not going to help him this year. Next year, it'll cost him $97.
Yep.
And that's pretty. I mean, for a guy coming off a knee injury, that's a little bit of a discount, but you can. That's not bad.
With that shitty offensive line too, I'm sorry. I'll
Yeah.
take the under on that one. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But
I threw $30 at him.
Well, I wanted to push it up, and I did. So I put all I had available in there, $80.
I did too. I put 19 on him.
That's all you had, Jeff?
That's all. I put $19. Sure, I'll take Saquon Barkley for 19. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, so welcome. What was so, Dad? Good summary of kind of the 0-2 and 2-0 teams. The other ones that are also, first of all, I want to say about the 0-2 teams that, and I'm one of them. Gus, you're one of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to panic here at all. There isn't. This is when you just gotta buckle down, and just realize the situation you're in. Just try to win one game. Nobody's out of this. And like Dad, like you mentioned, even like Napalm Jockstrap, they're 2-0, but they're a very soft 2-0. So if I don't know who's in his division, but if you're 0-2 in there, you can take that division. Okay, you just got to put together a little string of wins there, and you'll be all right.
That would be the Dynasty and the Smuffs,
And Hookem. Hookem's 2-0 as well this year. So
Right, he's 2-0. So was the Jockstraps, and the other guys are all 0-2. I mean, it's early. Things can happen for sure.
Every team has got some flaws to it. Some of them are due to injury, and some of them are just, they're all kind of the same. There's nobody who has a strength at every position. So you just plug a few weeks together where you get a good score. It's 2 weeks in. We can make up 2 weeks anytime.
Jeff, I agree with you. I agree with you as an 0-2 team that, yeah, sure, it's only 2 weeks. But after week 3, if I don't win this game, I'm on fire sale mode. So I will have all my team up for sale. I realize my rookie running backs aren't necessarily like people you'd want to go for, but I have someone like a Travis Kelce who is still a top 5 tight end in this league. And, I got to try to get something for this year. And I guess really for next year is the point.
Sure.
So to me, the cutoff line is after week 3. If I can't win, I'm done. I'll just accept that this just wasn't my year. And,
Well, you may as well start planning your fire sale now, because when we get to the predictions for next week, well, it'll start now.
For that game, it's close between me and Smuffs, just like it was last week against Napalm. So yeah, as far as other power rankings, I have the list up. I don't know if you all see it, but
There.
Whip and Ballzilla still at the top. I think they deserve it. I saw Savages. David, if you're still there, you moved up a lot after that week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Your team's looking good. Second in points for. Yeah, that week 1 was tough for you, but you built a good team so far, it looks like. And
Thank you. And
I realize
get some people
you
coming
weren't
back
at the
from
draft,
IR after
though,
this
right?
Too, so. What's up?
What were you just saying?
I get a couple people coming back from IR after this week too, so that'll help.
Oh, yeah. Who are the ones on IR with you right now?
I know Debo Samuel and what's that guy, that running back from New England? I mean, it's a New England running back, so it's probably not going to be much, but I forget Damian Harris.
Damian Harris, yeah.
I think Josh Allen ended up that's a great pickup for you. That you got.
It was a gamble, but so far it's looking good. But then again, look who Buffalo's played. So
yeah, when we actually get to your game, gosh, I think you have one of the matchups where you're a 20-point favorite, and
really,
it'd be hard to pick the other team. I think you're playing Shamers this week, or something like that. So
Yeah, and he's certain both of his running backs are down. You know, he
You
lost
said,
Barkley and Mozart.
Mozart.
oh man, that's
Whatever.
right. That's right. We had said, after the draft that his starters were really good, but his depth was non-existent. And I think he was trying to argue that a little bit. So we'll just see how that goes.
Well, like I said, I had reviewed the team, and I thought his starting lineup, after the draft, his starting lineup looked pretty good to me. I mean, I gave him a higher grade than you guys did. You're right, though, the depth is bad for him, and since he lost both starting running backs, it's going to be bad now. He might want one of my fucking lousy ass running backs.
So what about other movers, Gus? Was there anybody else who really changed much in the power rankings?
So I think I remember putting it up there on Facebook, but I put the Beer Guzzlers as a big mover. They moved up 5 spots. You know, Dad, you got the win you needed. You're still in it because everyone in that division is 1-1 right now. And yeah, you got the whole season ahead of you now. And if things turn out well in week 3, I forget who you're playing. I think it might be it's not Jess.
No,
Touch me down. So that's gonna be a tough game. But if you can get 2-1 after that, yeah, I think you're in the running to try and sell your first, second, third, fourth round picks again for all the best players if you really wanted to.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, he was a big mover, or I guess one of the bigger movers, and Shamers, yeah, he dropped a lot. I think he was at 4, went down to 9. I would just say after 2-3 more weeks, he'll be at 15, 16, right there with me.
So there you go. See, you won't be in last place.
I hope not to be after this week, but I like I said, just depends on what happens. So, anybody else have comments on the power rankings?
Well, it speaks for itself,
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, it seems like everyone's kind of normalizing. It feels like it's good to see Ballzilla still up there. He really does have a good team.
Yes. Do you factor in strength of schedule in terms of like points against in these power rankings?
So these
points.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's points for, there's consistency, and overall wins, which kind of compares you against every other opponent in the same week. And then roster, that's just using Fantasy Pros and like the little tools that are on there to rank your team. So strength of schedule, I don't think that's really a part of it. It's just an every week, your team against every other team, and then how your roster's built.
Well, that's what I was talking about before when I talked about, the points for, points against on Shook, for example, and Jockstrap as the last of the 2-0 teams,
Yeah, like you were saying, he's a week 2-0 team.
So why is Ballzilla and Whip technically tied for first with the final of 2.8, and Napalm Jockstrap and Savages at tied for fourth? Is that how that works?
Yes. So the way I do it, I just go 1, 2, 3 all the way down. I don't want to do 1, 1, 3, 4, 4, nothing like that. I just make it simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Whip and Ballzilla basically are tied for first. Shooks in third, and Jockstraps and Savages are tied for fourth.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
and that whole record, like him having a 1 right here, that just means he's 2-0. Savages being 6, but having all these other like higher marks over Napalm. I would probably say Savages is the better team there.
That's David's team, isn't it?
It is David's team.
Yes. It is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you guys are ready, I'll jump right into the games this week. Kind of take a look.
Well, before you do that, I know everybody knows about the injuries, right? Everybody knows about the injuries and how that can screw up your lineup and all that kind of shit. But the people specifically getting killed because of injuries are obviously the pups. But, he's putting in some players. He's got some players to kind of get over that. So I expect pups to start coming back a little bit on this. Hall of Shamers is dead with those 2 running backs. I don't think he got any of the big waiver pickups to kind of cover that. So I don't know about that. I have Kittle. Whip has Devontae Adams, who is questionable right now. We don't know if he's going to play. Jockstrap has Julio, and Sammy Watkins is questionable right now. But that could change. You know, it's only Wednesday. That could change by Saturday. So. And
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Shamers. I think he's the most cursed team this year. That really sucked with Saquon, but just looking at what he tried to do over with the free agency and waiver wire, I don't think he has a backup running back to fill in for Saquon's spot right now. I'll just go to the team, but he still has Saquon in. You know, you're not always changing lineups, but his backup running back is Duke Johnson, who's questionable. I don't know what he's going to do here.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't notice what happened on the waiver wire. I think, you know, there's a lot of people that were going after Henderson and the dude from Carolina, Mike Davis, and
I got him.
you know, the New England guy too, Dion Lewis. No, not New England, wherever he's at.
I think he was with New England and then
He's with
Tennessee, and he's bounced around. So, yeah, I think the bigger one for New York, the Giants, is Devontae Freeman, which don't you have him, David?
Yes, I do.
Wow, and you got him, I think, in the draft or maybe at the beginning of the season, right?
No, I picked him up after week 1.
After week 1? Okay, so you figured injuries were coming into play. He's got to land somewhere.
That and, you know, the whole vested veteran thing, I figured if he's going to get signed, it's going to happen after week 1. That way they don't have to guarantee his contract.
I was
right. I read about that.
I was watching him, but you grabbed him before. You know, I don't have a lot of room on my roster anyway to pick somebody up to just sit there. But
yeah,
I was certainly looking at somebody's going to pick him up eventually, and here he is.
I mean,
it looks like you don't even have to plug him in yet.
Yeah, y'all know how I am with running backs anyway. You know, so it's like, need I say more? It's like I kind of just like to have a little bit of a platoon for an RB2. Just seems to work better for me that way. But I figured he could end up being a piece on it. So
yeah, I think it just strengthens that bench for sure on your team. All right, so if y'all are ready, I'll just go ahead and start with the first game shown on my screen, Smuffs versus my team, the Dynasty. I think I updated my lineup as best as I could. I think Jason has too. And so, yeah, the projection is 2 to 3 points, Smuffs' favor. You know, going off of just ESPN projections, it's a little bit split when it comes to advantages. Maybe all his running backs and a wide receiver, and I don't actually feel good about Jamison Crowder as an advantage if he's still questionable. But yeah, I mean, this is my last gasp. If I can't win this game, like I said, I'm everyone who's listening to this that wants to go ahead and start throwing out offers beforehand, come at me. I'm ready.
So I went over the listing of matchups yesterday. I think I was writing my stuff up yesterday. So I don't know what the lineups are going to be, but I just went on what I saw yesterday. So I don't know if yours changed much or not. So
this is basically what I'm riding with this week. I'm throwing in Mike Davis, you know, with Christian McCaffrey down. It says 12.5. If he gets 10, I'd think that's a victory for me. Not a victory overall, but to have 10 points in a running back spot.
Yeah.
So
I think okay. So if I look at Asmus's team, I see some cracks there that are not necessarily showing up on the projections here. First of all, we got to ask the question: Is T.Y. Hilton done? That the dude is doing nothing, and this is extending back to last year too. He wasn't exactly lighting it up, from what I remember, based on T.Y. Hilton's history. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think Gesicki is a really boomer bust play, and I don't, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and bank on him being the 6th best tight end the rest of the year. So I think that's a hole. And then the rest of it I think is pretty fair. I would, on the other side of it though, I think Mike Davis, Gus, honestly, didn't he catch like 6 or 7 passes after McCaffrey went out? Something ridiculous like that.
8.
What was that?
Picked up 8.
All right, so there's your floor. I mean, maybe not 8, but if he catches at that same pace of some sort to 5 or 6 passes, there's your 10 points. Yeah. And then if he rushes for another 50 yards, there's 15. If he scores a touchdown, there's 21. So, I mean, Mike Davis was top on my list, and obviously I couldn't get him, but that was a good move. I don't know what's going on with Tyler Boyd. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Kelsey is who he is. N'Keal Harry, or N'Keal, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Yeah, I'm nervous about him, but all in all, I think that this is a game that you can win. I don't care. I mean, basically, the score's a push. They really don't have a difference there. It's fractions of a point per player. But I would pick you to win this one.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Thank you.
And, I'm not real sold on Goff, but who's his other quarterback? Did he change quarterback? Oh, yeah, Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if he started him yet, but
He might have started him in week 1 or 2. I see he also picked up Dion Lewis as a backup just in case, but
yeah, okay.
yeah, I'm going to go against myself. I'm just going to say I'm going to lose. My pick is Bucks win this game.
You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that.
I can definitely do that. I have a separate contest here where we pick we pick winners. So I'm covering myself. It's a win either way. So what do you think, Jeff?
Like I said, I'm picking you to win.
All right. Dad?
Well, I originally had you pick to lose, but then all these waiver pickups and stuff, Mike Davis could be a big factor for you. I'm not sold on Mixon at all. I never was, but I don't know. You may end up – I don't know what Zach Moss has been doing, but if he can carry you a little bit, you'll be all right.
I don't know.
I don't know. That looks like a pretty close matchup. So
this game is the equivalent of the Jags versus Dolphins
Miami.
or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like
on
nobody
Thursday.
really wants to watch this game on Thursday. So Dad, I don't know who you picked because I'm gonna have to track this.
Okay, I originally picked Smuffs to win. What I saw yesterday was that you were outmatched in all positions. Of course, that's not true anymore. So I don't know.
Oh my God, Dad, just make a pick.
Well, I'm going to go with what my gut said before. I'm going to pick Smuffs to win.
Smuffs to win. All right. And then our special guest, I don't know if David's following, but what are you thinking?
Fuck.
Don't be shy. Just throw it out there.
I think, honestly, I'm going to go with Smuffs on this one. No offense, man, but
None taken.
I think it's going to be really close, but I'm going to go with Smuffs.
All right. Jeff, thanks for the confidence, but you're definitely in the minority here.
So I can gain some ground in the pick 'em.
Yeah, you need help.
Yeah, I do.
All right, next game that I have up here is Bubba Gump versus Scabs, part of the Rice division, the 1-1 division. I don't think Jess has updated her lineup fully. I think, yeah, okay, she had Keelan Cole on the bench, who I think she could fit in somewhere. Maybe? No, I guess I had that wrong.
Christian Kirk, maybe? Swapping out for Christian Kirk?
Yeah, well, with projections, it looks like Kirk is just a little bit better projection. Yeah, I didn't realize it was 11
That
points
print's
here.
pretty small, man.
Oh, yeah, here, let me zoom in.
There we go.
Is that better? Yeah, so yeah, I noticed JR finally updated his lineup, which maybe this is the time to say, like, hey, thank you for doing that, but you should try to do that every week. Don't throw in your IR guys.
I think Ronald Jones is probably going to lose touches because of Fournette. I think Nyheim Hines was what I thought he was, and that's a pass catching back that might be in there on third down. That could change, but
that was pretty surprising this past week that he had basically a dud. I think it was 1.4 points. He had one catch.
Yeah.
So that's pretty bad.
Kind of his role,
Yeah.
It's not his fault, man.
Johnson.
Taylor's just that good.
I tend to agree with that, David. Yeah, I mean, he was picked where he was for a reason. So, yeah, I mean, the more I keep looking at this game, I thought Jess actually had a better pick she could have thrown in there, but yeah, if Scabs is finally paying attention to his lineup, I think he could even improve. I saw he had Preston Williams in, and Devontae Parker, if he's healthy, would maybe fit in better.
He had something out there on Facebook a few days ago, and it was one of them political bullshit things. And I was putting something in, and I said, "Oh, and by the way, check your lineup in the AGFFA."
Yeah.
So I don't know if he changed it after that or not, but Apparently he did, so that's good.
Yeah, you kept him in check, Dad. I mean, for me, I love Jess. She has a great team most years, but I don't know.
Well,
And I look at that team; it doesn't look that bad. But I'm gonna go with the projections. I'll pick Scabs in this one.
I had picked Scabs as well.
Yeah.
To me, this is a game where if you were going to like bet the over under, I would be betting the under heavily. I think it'd be 243.1. Give me lower than that. I'm going to pick Jess, not because her team is fantastic or anything like that, but I do think Deontay Johnson is a little underrated. I think Mahomes could have another massive game yet again, even if it's against Baltimore. I just think that he makes other teams look stupid. Robbie Anderson, man, that guy, I was watching that Carolina game. Obviously, I had a lot of interest yesterday, so I was flicking back or last week. I was flicking back and forth between that. Robbie Anderson is so small. I mean, he's just tall and lanky. But the guy is playing his ass off right now. On the other hand, I think Preston Williams is a spare. I think Austin Hooper sucks, and he plays for a sucky team. I don't know if Keenan Allen's having a pretty good game. I don't know if he's going to exceed expectations this coming week, but I guess we'll see.
But in a flex, that's a pretty good
I'm going to take Jess. I think Jess will win this. She'll pull it out.
It's possible. It's possible. Does she have any other running backs she can put in there?
Yeah, she's got Carlos Hyde, Boston Scott, from what I can see right here. Yeah. She's got options. They're not great options, but
I think what she has in is her best starting, just what she could do with the best for her team. So,
well, to me, that was the weakness on her team in this matchup. So, going up against, Hilaire, I don't know. I just went with Scabs on this one.
Same.
I think Keelan Cole on the bench should probably be in instead of Christian Kirk. But who am I to quibble with the two-time defending champion of the league?
Yeah. So shut up.
Yeah.
Back-to-back champion too. David, you have an opinion on this matchup as well?
I got to go with Scabs on this one. Did y'all know Joshua Kelly's on pace through 2 weeks, but still on pace to finish as a top 20 back this year?
I've noticed like he's had consistent back-to-back weeks, it seems like.
Yeah.
Can you pull him up? Let's see what his games have been. He's had
12 and 13.
Yeah, okay. So he's averaging 12.
In this league, that's pretty all right.
Yeah.
You'll take it.
Yeah, and I guess for the Chargers, that I saw an article that Justin Herbert or Ebert, I don't know how you say it, he's going to be starting this week.
Yeah, he needs to start anyway.
Yeah. Maybe he's going to be checking down a lot to his running backs.
Tyrod Taylor had like an adverse reaction to a pain-killing injection or something.
Did y'all read it? It posted about maybe an hour ago. He got that painkiller injection, and when the doctor gave it to him, it was in the rib cage, obviously. The doctor punctured his lung.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
God.
What do they call that? Medical malpractice or something?
Yep.
He paralyzed his lung?
Ugh.
No, like collapsed it or something. It punctured.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I was hearing rumors about it could be COVID related because he had to go to the hospital or something. So glad that wasn't actually the case. That still sounds just as bad.
That's awful. So, yeah, that sucks.
All right. So seems like most everyone's picking Scabs and Jeff's in the minority again.
Absolutely.
All right, Dad, you're up. Beer Guzzlers versus Touch Me Down.
Well, my brain tells me I got very little chance to win this, but I'm not going to go against my team. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go with the Guzzlers in an upset, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Kittle's questionable. I don't know if he's going to play or not. I think I read something he might sit out based on the turf.
That stadium.
MetLife Stadium. But if he plays and he's doing all right, healthy enough, I would think he's going to do much better than Jordan Akins for the Texans.
Oh, yeah, if he plays, I'm swapping him out as soon as I see any indication of that.
Yeah.
So, and if I do that, it's going to be a closer game than it looks right now. But I picked up that Wilson guy off of waivers because I couldn't get any of the other guys.
Who the hell is
that
that?
was
Jeff
probably-
Wilson?
Yeah, that was probably a mistake. I don't know what he's going to do, but you know, maybe he steals a touchdown somewhere in there. You know, maybe 12 points, 15, 12, 13 points. That'd be fine.
I'm pretty sure so Garoppolo's out, Tevin Coleman's out, Mostert is probably sitting or is out. So I don't know. Like, it sounds like just about anyone could come through in that game for the 49ers.
I'll say this about Wilson, man. He's got some hands too. So,
Oh, yeah?
he's definitely got some hands.
In a 1-point PPR league, that's good to have. So,
Yeah,
I
nice
mean,
solid
Dad,
four.
your team, it did better last week than I think I expected. So Big Ben definitely came through for you. I forget what he had in the end.
Well,
He
it
got
wasn't
38, so he was consistent enough. He probably hit his
it wasn't
projection.
what I wanted. I wanted 60.
But it was all right. You had everybody else back it up too. Chubb is someone I'd be worried about for you. Like, I know he had a good week last week, but it seems like Kareem Hunt is actually a bigger part of that offense than maybe a lot of us expected. I didn't expect him to take as many carries as he did.
That was a very entertaining game.
Last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
It was a good game.
Thursday night game, and both of those running backs look awesome.
Yeah.
Chubb had a very good game. I'm looking for him to do the same against Washington, although their defense is supposedly better, but, we'll see. I'm not going to drop. I mean, he's in my lineup. That's all I can say.
So I mentioned this in the Facebook post, Touch Me Down. We talked about it during the draft, how he picked Henry before he picked Saquon Barkley or Zeke.
Right.
So he did dodge a big bullet.
Yes, he did.
That's pretty good, but still, I'm not sure about over Zeke. I feel like Zeke still would have been the better pick there.
Well, Henry didn't do shit last week.
Or week 1, really.
He had a good game week 1, I thought, but week 2.
16 points. I mean, sure,
Okay,
that's okay, but
yeah, that's probably a little under what you'd expect from him.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, he dodged the bigger bullet of Barkley, who I think, a lot of other people in our league maybe would have picked there. So, but yeah, I mean, the rest of his team, I like it a lot. It's a pretty solid team. I like his bench. The more I look at it here too.
He's got Leonard Fournette,
Yeah, I still don't know with Leonard Fournette.
I don't know.
That offense to me, it just reminds me of the Patriots running back offense. There's plenty of options back there. And I don't know, maybe Fournette's going to end up being more of a goal line back, but I can't tell right now with Bruce Arians and what he's really aiming to do with that team.
Well, like I said, my brain tells me I lose this game, but I'm not going to go against the team. So, beer guys.
Well, I'm gonna take Touch Me Down. Sorry, Dad, but
All right.
when I look at one thing that's a factor. You guys probably already know this about me, but I like having the receiver on the opposite end of my opponent's quarterback. So, because it's plus 1 point. Every time they can get a pass, that gets plus 1. He's got Juju, and Juju, I don't know if he's the primary, but he's not the third receiver in that offense. It could be Deontay Johnson or Juju any week, and then, pick your poison for the third guy.
Watch out for Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool, man. Dude's a player.
He's just a game or two for me putting him in my fucking lineup.
Oh, you got
you should just go balls to the wall and put him in this week.
Oh, hell yeah. You should just swing for the fences.
Take out Corey Davis and throw him in.
Yeah, it's plus 1 point for you every time he completes a pass to him.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. And Davis, if AJ, or whatever his name is, Brown, if he's back in, that may influence me some. I don't know. Corey Davis is probably a little more consistent than Claypool. Claypool's a big play threat. I mean, he had 3 catches, but one of them was for 80 yards, right? He had 84 yards total. Well, and a touchdown. So I don't know.
I mean, I think once that offense starts, this may not be the week to do it, Dad, but I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes, somebody that you at least throw into the conversation for a flex or maybe a starter. Because the offenses are going to start to get better as the season goes on. Defenses are always ahead early on. So
I
You
don't
know,
know.
once that offense starts to
Scoring is
figure things
higher
out a
than
little
ever.
bit better. What's that?
I said, I think in the NFL, the average score is way up. So
Yeah, I
I
know.
think
That's
defense
I,
has
I
been
remember
playing.
hearing that would be the theory for this year with no preseason games, and I think the closer comparison was that lockout year in 2012 or something.
Right,
I haven't
right.
actually checked if that's actually been the case so far, but
well,
I
you
think I'm going to
guys.
pick Touch Me Down this week. I don't know. I think his team's coming along pretty strong. So, yeah. Sorry, Dad.
I
No,
see the
no, just
projected total down
one
there.
last thought about the
Pretty
offenses
close.
real quick is that we watched the Steelers game last week, and there were times when it looked like everything clicked, and then there were other times when it was kind of just a train wreck.
Mhm.
Some of that was drops and things like that, but those things will get worked out, and if they can start extending drives, there'll be obviously more opportunities. I just think Claypool, once that offense starts to actually start to hum a little bit, he may become that third option for Ben that the other guys just can't provide. But I don't know, just my thoughts. I'm going Touch Me Down. Sorry, Dad.
It's all right.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, I'm going touch me down.
I
That's
said
3-1 again.
this year, so
All right, Jeff, your game, Ramones versus the Pups. I don't remember if I saw there were some improvements or changes that could be made to either team. Oh, you know what I did? I remember Emmanuel Sanders. It says 5-point projection, and he has possibly A.J. Brown that could go in, which 12.9, basically 7-8 points. I mean, it puts it at close to a pick 'em, or maybe even Ramones is favored.
Yep.
First off, I just want to ask a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
McCaffrey down,
Yeah.
Michael Thomas down, and I don't know what the news is with Thomas, but like, are you getting scared? Like, is it like if you lose this week, are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking almost, where maybe not after week 3, but maybe after week 4 or whatever your schedule looks like? Like you might just be like, I have to sell.
No, no, I'm not, because I look after those first 2 weeks, I did have to do a reality check and see what I had. And the next 7 weeks, every one of the 7 games I'm playing, I can win. And even if I drop 1 or 2 of them, that at least gets me into a wild card chase going into the last week of the divisional round. And maybe you never know. I might go on a little run here. It starts this week, though, obviously. I really need to win this game. If I lose this one, I have no margin for error. But again, I looked at my schedule, and I've got 7 weeks here of where I could really go on a run. I honestly could. My team is not that bad. It just needs I need some health, and I need to make a move or two. That's it.
I got you winning the game. That's my pick.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I need to make one move, and I'm working on that as we speak, trying to get one move to get me just marginally better as far as my starters go. I was talking with Asmus about this, was it a couple of days ago? And, if we were not in a 16-team league, I don't think Tom Brady is rosterable. Like, because everybody needs a quarterback and a backup, he has to be on somebody's roster. But this is a 12-team league. He's on the waiver wire. You just can't play him right now. He's useless. I'm keeping Daniel Jones because I'm thinking that perhaps maybe that without Saquon Barkley, they turn to a passing offense, and Daniel Jones, even if he's not really efficient, then he gets like 40 passes a game going here on out. And maybe he just racks up yards through pure brute attempts, and mixes in some touchdowns. And yeah, he'll throw some picks too, but he'll have to be the focal point of the offense, I think. So we'll see. And maybe Daniel Jones becomes my next starter, because right now he's basically the same as Tom Brady. I looked at the waiver wire, and I could drop Brady and pick up fucking Mitchell Trubisky. I look at that and go, I've already got Mitchell Trubisky on my roster. His name is Tom Brady. I don't need another one. I need somebody better than that. So I'm hoping Daniel Jones boosts me up, and then I've got a move that maybe will help another position. And if so, my projected point totals are favorable to a lot of the other teams. So I just need to play to expectations for the next 7 weeks, and I can go on a run. I really think I can.
It's not even that long. I think Michael Thomas probably comes back in a couple of weeks. Then you've got, arguably the best wide receiver. I have you having an advantage as far as running backs are concerned, even though he's got Connor and Carson had a big game last week, but I think you have the advantage on that. Mike Evans and Allen Robinson against Will Fuller and Emmanuel Sanders. I think you've got it shows you have the advantage on wide receivers. So I don't know. The question here is how much is Ralph Wilson going to put on the board compared to Brady, That to me, that's the biggest factor. But I'm picking your team to win.
That's what we think.
Well, I definitely see the problem with Brady. It's just, I think time and age has finally hit him. He could get you 30 to maybe 40 points a game, but even that could be a little risky at times. I like your theory on Daniel Jones, even though a lot of his key weapons are, falling really fast with Barkley. I saw something like Sterling Shepard's going to be placed on IR. So, yeah, just maybe the offense has to go through him now, and maybe he becomes the new garbage time quarterback in the NFL.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is a strategy you could use in a 16-team league, especially. But yeah, I mean, Dad brings up a good point. I think about Russell Wilson. Like, he is the number one ranked quarterback in our league. I think across all leagues, standard leagues too, that have like 25 passing yards for a point.
They're playing Dallas.
He's going to be the quarterback this year he's going to start breaking all these records, or at least get so close to like what Mahomes did a couple years ago. And that could be the problem, Jeff, is you could have a great team, but I think you could have a great team, Jeff, but it's stuff like how our league is set up with the quarterback high scoring that Wilson just kills you this week.
No, and I agree. If you look at the projection, he's only supposed to outscore Brady by 7. And this last week, for as much as I'm bagging on Tom Brady, last week he wasn't helped out by his receivers at all. I think that there was a drop touchdown pass from Shady McCoy, and I think I think Mike Evans also dropped like an easily catchable ball that would have been a big gainer too. So, he's not being helped out is what I'm saying. He's having to fight through all that other crap too. So maybe this is the week that's why I got him in my lineup, because I looked at it and went, yeah, but he sucks. Maybe he should have had a better game. That's all.
What do you think, David?
And I'm going to go with the upset on this one. Here's my line of reasoning. I know that he's got Wilson, but I'm sorry. I think Connor. I know I'm talking to Steelers fans here. I'm not a believer in him. I know Houston's defense has kind of been wishy-washy, but I think Connor is going to underperform that 16.3. Chris Carson, I'm not a believer. Will Fuller, I'm going to have to really see him string together some weeks. Emmanuel Sanders, no. Ingram, no. Long story short, I think Jeff's team, aside from Brady, if Brady can just reach that projection, I think everybody else that Jeff's got has got the potential to really overperform their projection. I'm going with Puppies of Purgatory.
That's what
I say. Even Allen Robinson, because I hate that guy.
Give him to me then, dude. Damn.
Well, Jeff, yeah, I'm just picking Ramones because I feel like the momentum's there more on his side, and you're just I don't know. There's some unluckiness with your team currently. Like you said, you can turn it around, but yeah. So.
Shitty band, shitty team name. Sorry.
There you go. All right. What I would call the game of the week, Ballzilla versus Whip. The projections are kind of showing Whip is a pretty heavy favorite here, 12 to 13 points.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Ballzilla or even Whip could improve their lineup. So I really am looking forward to seeing how this is going to turn out. I do think Whip has the best team. I think he's number one. I know it's kind of a tie for number one in our power rankings, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Whip takes it. I going back to just getting Jonathan Taylor starting in your lineup after the injury to Marlon Mack. I said this last week. His weak spot, I feel like, is Zach Ertz, and I'll stick to that. If that's your weak spot, you have a really, really good team in a 16-team league.
Is Devontae Adams healthy, or I know he was questionable or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think what I heard is they took him out of the game last week more as a precaution and just they were already winning at that point pretty big at that point. So I don't know what the situation was with DJ Chark, but I don't know. I guess if he could put in I don't know, maybe Hunter Henry is a flex, or that's not the best flex, but I think with his projection where it's at, I don't know. I mean, looking at Ballzilla's team too, I don't believe in Todd Gurley. This is just a bad year for him. Ridley's been a great pickup, a great addition. AJ Green, I know this 61 player ranking isn't very good, but I still think he's getting a lot of targets. He's getting opportunities from Burrow, and Burrow at least looks like a competent quarterback so far. Goddard kind of came back to earth after week 1. I like Stephon Diggs. I like his team, but I just think Whip has a little bit more there to take this victory.
So who'd you pick?
I'm picking Whip. I think Whip is going to be 3-0 in this division when it's all said and done.
I picked Whip as well.
Yeah.
And I agree. This is the Battle of the Undefeateds Part 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I even if Ballzilla loses, I don't see him dropping too far in our power rankings as long as there's no major injuries. And like I said, I don't think there's anything he can do to improve the team currently for this week. But I don't know, he might want to look to try to unload Gurley for something. If he can improve that second running back spot, I think he'd be right up there with Whip and you too, Jeff, once your power players come back. So.
I think, okay, so Ridley is putting up quarterback numbers, which is massive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's sustainable, obviously, but that's pretty impressive. I agree with you, Gus. AJ Green is getting peppered with targets, so, he's probably going to have one of those breakout games at some point. It may not be all year, but, he'll have one of the game where he scores a couple touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, I don't remember where he drafted him, but I know that I got him in the Houston League, and that guy has been the difference maker for my team over there. So I mean, kind of want to look at that and go, man, what did we miss about Stephon Diggs? How did we pass on him?
It's the whole Buffalo team and offense that we haven't trusted for years,
Yeah, but that dude's a beast.
Was Diggs drafted or was he a keeper?
No, he was drafted. Yeah. I personally, I'm going to take Ballzilla, as much as that pains me to do so, because I fucking hate Ballzilla, but I think they're going to pull off the upset here, and the reason why is I think Whip has been punching over their weight class a little bit. I don't think Kenyon Drake really doesn't. There's nothing about him that makes me feel great. I'm happy with him as a starting running back.
I'm waiting for that MCL, ACL to hit his ass so I can put my running back in.
I don't know how good. I think Detroit's defense kind of sucks, so maybe that's a factor too, and that could help out. Kyler Murray's been playing really well. I guess you could say that's a pretty reasonable keeper, although even then, second or third round, it's still a lot to pay for a quarterback. Tyreek Hill, he was quiet all last week until late in the game. And he was on the verge of shitting the bed there until he caught that long touchdown pass. So I think that kind of turned things around for him a little bit late, and maybe that was just fluky. If Sammy Watkins isn't playing, I'm sure he's going to get a lot more targets. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Ballzilla. This is probably more my heart than anything. I just really like his team a lot. I really do. And until Ridley fades a little bit, I gotta believe that's going to carry him. And his flex is, arguably he's got the best flex player in our league with Diggs, and that's a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, to me, it's why not Diggs in the second wide receiver spot and Green in the flex? But yeah, I think I see what you're saying. I don't know. So okay, you're picking Ballzilla, Dad. You were picking Whip.
I picked Whip. Yes.
All right, and I picked Whip. What do you think, David?
This one's really a toss-up for me. I'm not really a believer in Tyreek Hill this week. Kenyon Drake Not a fan of his to begin with. Man, gun to my head. And I'm going to go with Whip.
I did make a note. I did make a note on my when I wrote this up yesterday. I said my note was Devontae Adams is a key for Whip, and I thought that he had some kind of injury designation. But if he plays, I think that's going to be a difference maker for him. He gets, he'll pick up that extra point every time Rodgers throws a touchdown pass to him. So
yeah, they're saying a hamstring injury. So
that's not good.
Yeah, if that's the case and they sit him out, I mean, I think he'll have at least he throws Chark in there, and then he'll have some other options for a flex. But
what's Chark's injury?
That's a good question. Chest, limited participant in practice Tuesday, and he's going to find out. He's going to find out by tomorrow if Chark is even playing because the Thursday night game. So
that's right. Yeah.
All right. And something I think is really important on Ballzilla. He's got Dalvin Cook in the lineup going up against Tennessee. Man, Minnesota's a mess right now, and I think game script are going to have to move away from the run. I just think it's something to consider. I think 19 points is a little generous there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, real quick with Minnesota, I saw Kirk Cousins. He had like a negative point game last week.
Yes.
So yeah. I know they lost and whatever, but has anyone looked at that? Is Kirk looking bad, or is it just the offense they're trying to run?
Has he ever been good?
Well, I don't know. He used to kind of put up volume numbers. I remember there was that game against the Rams a couple years ago. Him and Goff were like 400, 500 yards each. And I just keep thinking he could always do that on that team. So.
Well, losing Diggs is a big thing.
Yeah, okay. I could see that being the reason. All right, well, so it sounds like most everyone's Whip except for Jeff with Ballzilla. All right, David, we're at your game now with Savages versus M Team. Dad, you started at the beginning of this that Monty, he looks like a strong 0-2 team. But yeah, just kind of a little unlucky in the Smith division so far. David, I'll let you go ahead. I mean, it's your team. What are you thinking for this week?
I mean, first time I'm really looking at his team. Man, I just don't see it with Monty. I got Galladay in right now. He's got a hamstring injury. I'll probably end up pulling him, might end up pulling him for Lazard just because I don't want Galladay out there as a decoy, so to speak, end up with like 2 points or something. Just kind of throw Lazard out because he's more guaranteed points.
Yeah.
Allen, I think he's boom or bust this week. We'll see what happens.
God, his average is crazy right now. Yeah. 58.2 points per game.
But then again, that defense that he's playing this week, man, they've been showing out. Mm-hmm. But I just, I'm not a Minshew believer, really. He's a gamer, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. We'll see.
I'm surprised they show him as the advantage there.
That is weird.
Well, it's ESPN. Do we need to say any more?
Oh, and they're playing Miami. It's
an advantage, but it's 1 point. So,
right.
I mean, Dalton Schultz in the starting lineup. Come on now, and
hey, I'm not a Cowboy fan, and you are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't he have a good game?
Hold on. There's a reason why I don't take Dallas players except for Zeke whenever he just falls in my lap, because my opinion is skewed on Dallas players, so I just avoid them. Otherwise, I end up overreaching and overdrafting for them. That's just me.
He had a 20-point game. It looked like that's pretty good for first weekend.
In a furious comeback too. I mean, if they have a game script that's more balanced, I don't know how much. I mean, Schultz might be the sleeper of the year, but let's see what happens. It's one data point. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, but just comparing it to Waller,
Atlanta didn't know how to cover an onside kick.
Dude, Waller had like a 30-point game or something. So
yeah, Waller's so criminally underrated. It blows my mind.
He's incredible.
12 catches. Wow. God.
Yeah, I know.
Who has Waller?
I do.
David does.
Oh, okay.
So at worst, it's a push, and I would say odds are Waller's going to dominate that matchup between Schultz and him.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I mean, for me, I would go you, David, winning this one.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, even DeAndre Swift is your running back too here. That's not bad. I know. I think did he do all right week 2? I didn't even check. Okay,
Yeah.
consistent.
I mean, he's got the pass catching role. That's going to help against Arizona. So that's kind of why I have him in there right now.
Yeah, that's true. And you can only improve if Kenny Golladay is actually playing. So
yeah.
And not just a decoy, like you said. Yeah, I would go with you for sure on this one. What do you think,
I
Jeff?
took the Savages as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying I'm going Savages.
Oh, wait a minute.
Without a doubt.
Wait a minute.
I don't think so. I think Josh Allen and Minshew is a push. I think Zeke is, I'm not saying Josh Jacobs sucks, but he's definitely, I would rather have Zeke than Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift and Mark Ingram kind of a push for me. Thielen is he's looking like Thielen, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Lazard, like you said, David, I'm not sure if I'd rather have Gallup than Lazard, but that might be the only other advantage I see out there. Singletary versus McLaren, definitely McLaren, without a doubt. So all in all, I mean, aside from that wide receiver 2 position, I think Savages has the advantage here.
Yeah.
Massive advantage.
Who's Monty's other quarterback?
Matthew Stafford. Hey, you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay. I cut out, it looked like.
So, Gus, who are you taking?
I'm taking Savages.
Dad, who are you taking?
I got Savages as well.
I'm taking Savages. David, who are you taking?
I'm taking Savages.
All right, consensus.
Clean sweep. All right, second to the last game, Shook versus Shamers. Okay, I'm just picking Shook. I've looked at Shamers' team enough. It makes me want to puke. I'm sorry, Dusty. It's just you got hit with that curse. So I guess you have this advantage here with your flex, which I don't think that's a true advantage. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I don't really have much to say, you guys. Shook really does have a good team. He did a good job here so far. I don't know. Anybody else want to comment?
Shook, Prescott, Camaro, Kareem Hunt, even as a second running back on Cleveland. Metcalf, he had a big game. I think he did. Edelman sucked up passes left and right last week. Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Shook's got this one.
It shows advantage Shamers at the flex position by 2 points. Okay. Now, Shook's going to run away with this one. They'll go to 3-0.
Yeah, I agree.
This would be the upset of the year if Shamers can pull this off.
I don't know. What's his other running back?
To it,
He's got to change Barkley out. Who else does he have for running back?
We talked about this. The only option he has right now is Duke Johnson. And I still don't even know if he's going to play.
Right.
He's inactive for the game against the Ravens. So that's old news. There's other options he could probably look up right now, but yeah, doesn't look pretty.
No, there's nothing out there on the waiver wire either. I'll tell you that. I've been looking at. No, I don't see there's any way he can win this game. None.
David, you disagree, or is this
I'm taking
clean
Shook.
sweep?
Yeah, clean sweep.
Yeah, I bet you're looking forward to the rematch against him later in the year, right?
That first week, both years, man. Damn.
Yeah, that sucked. 2 years in a row. Yep. All right, last game for week 3. Rick, Napalm Jockstrap versus Hookem, the other 2-0 versus 2-0 game.
Right.
Yeah, this is a close projection. This is probably the better 2-0 game because I can see why the projections are as close as they are. There's advantages both ways here. Anyone want to start? By all means.
Okay, Lamar Jackson playing Kansas City. He's going to have a good game. take his run in, and I like Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow. Aaron Jones has been killing everything.
There's no way he has 2 weeks in a row like that, though. I have to check if he broke the record. I can't remember if he did for running back scoring last week.
He had 48 points, I think, something like that.
That's absurd.
I got to check that.
Julio Jones is questionable. Watkins is questionable. Higbee's good. Slayton's going to get catches because that's all they got there.
What's Watkins' situation?
I don't know. Has he got a hammy too?
Before being knocked out after taking a hit to the head, so maybe concussion protocol.
Concussion protocol.
Was it early in the game?
Caught 1 of 3 targets. I mean, he must have gotten hit to the head, and he was pulled out right after that. I didn't watch the game, so.
I didn't either. Okay. All right.
I mean, it looks like he has some options that he could change or put in instead. So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well, I'm going to take Hookem to deliver Napalm Jockstrap's first regular season loss this week.
It needs to happen. Man, he's running away with that. It'll stand the test of time, as they say.
What's his other wide receiver? I guess he could always swap Slayton up there instead of Jones if he's out. I don't know what's going on with Julio Jones.
Yeah, let's see. Take it all the way through the week, blah, blah, blah. Oh, who strained his left hamstring in week 2. So, hammy injury for Julio.
What's his other receivers on the bench? Does he have anybody down there?
Rick has Brandon Cooks, Cole Beasley. They're serviceable.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right. They'll get him some points. He won't get a goose egg, but I heard that, like, Julio Jones is not looking real good anyhow. Like, he dropped another touchdown pass or something, too, this past week.
It was in his hands,
Yeah, so could be seeing the slide of Julio. That age catching up to him.
He's had a good career, so ever since, like, I guess his second year, maybe it was his rookie year, but yeah, it's always been reliable. And if he finishes as a wide receiver too, that's not bad.
How about DeAndre Hopkins being the number 2 wide receiver in our league after being traded to the Cardinals?
Yeah.
He's quarterback proof, man.
Yeah.
So being a Houston, like a tier 2 Houston fan, Gus, how does the pantheon of Houston wide receivers work? Is Andre Johnson still considered the gold standard, or
Definitely.
is it DeAndre Hopkins?
Definitely. I was talking with Ross about this the other day, and he's so pissed about Bill O'Brien, and I kind of am too. Like, at first I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for the move he made. And after week 1, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, David Johnson looked all right. But just the way that DeAndre looks after 2 weeks, and, he could have been the clear heir apparent to Andre Johnson. He could have been up there and probably surpassed it, depending on how well the Texans did in a playoff run, to a Super Bowl run, whatever.
Did they have a bad coach-player relationship?
I think that was kind of some news behind maybe the move that happened between DeAndre and Bill O'Brien. But still, it looks bad. And so the thing, we're kind of going off topic of fantasy football, but just for the Texans and that team, they're playing the Steelers this week. If they lose that game, and I think it's week 4, I forget what the schedule showed, but, the firing talk, it'll start pretty soon, especially if, I think it's week 4 they play the Jags. If they lose to the Jags, I could see him losing his job this year.
It's about 10 months too late.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so just back to DeAndre is like a number 2 in our league. I think that was maybe a steal of the draft when he got him. I think it was a 2nd-round pick for him. something like that.
Couldn't have been.
Well,
Well, maybe it was. Maybe it was. Hell, I don't know.
yeah, I can.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, you know,
Dominic
the
does
more I
count.
look at it, I could see Hookham being the first one to knock off Napalm ever in the regular season. So, yeah, I'm picking Hookham here.
Well, when I went through my analysis of this one, I picked jock straps, but I don't know what Julio's status was then. It was probably the same, but I still went with jockstrap because of the quarterback, his primary running back. Matt Breda is not good. I don't like that pick, but
Yeah, it's a weak part of his team. Um, yeah, I think he's waiting for Le'Veon Bell to get back.
And why isn't Washington's defense special teams called football team DST? That would be cool, man. I got football team.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
It is lame.
FTDST, something like that. All right, so I pick Hookham. Jeff, you said Hookham.
Yep.
Dad, you're sticking with Napalm, or what are you thinking?
I'm going with Napalm. I'm going to assume that Julio Jones is going to play. And maybe he's on his downhill run, but I'm going with Napalm.
All right, David, you get to close this out for the picks.
I'm taking Hookham.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 3-1s here. I don't think we split on any of the games, so it's pretty interesting. Yeah, so there's your week 3 preview for anyone that actually listens. I don't know. Is there anything else any of you guys want to talk about before continuing on with the Wednesday day?
I just want to point out again that, if you're 0-2, this ain't over yet. And I know it's easy for somebody to say, but harder to do. But look, the injury bug and all that crap, this is not a weird year for injuries. I've heard people say that, but the fact is that normally these injuries would have occurred in the preseason, and there would be some stars that would be out for the year because of injuries. It'd just be a preseason game. The fact that they happen during the season doesn't mean we're having more injuries. It just means they're happening at a different time, and it's after we drafted, which kind of sucks. But the bottom line is that when you look at the waiver wire, there's still some pretty decent players out there outside of quarterback and tight end. But
Oh, really? Who?
There's wide receivers that you can pick up if you really need a wide receiver. They're out there. Running backs are falling left and right, okay? But there's still some unsettled positions out there. So I just don't think it's necessarily the end of the world. And you can make deals. You can always make trades and get somebody if you need one. But if you're 0-2 and you're panicking, I would say, got to see what happens this week. You get to 1-2 and it's like you're right back in it. And you got, 7 weeks before we go back into divisional play, and you can, get on a little bit of a streak there.
Jeff, I feel like you're talking to me because I am panicking, and I realize, like, okay, I'll wait one more week to see how this works. But like I said, if I'm 0-3 with this team, I mean, there's a reason I'm 0-3. It's just not a good team. I need to sell. I need to try and get something for next year. So it's out there for the league. If I lose and you hear this, by all means, come and reach out and try to get Kelsey. Try to get – if Tannehill pans out, you need a quarterback.
Did you pick up Tannehill?
I had him from the draft. I really haven't made any big free agent moves besides what I did this week.
Who's your starting?
Man, I've been rolling out Carson Wentz every week, and he just keeps getting like the 30, 35 points. It's just not enough. I need a 45, 50-point game to really beat some of these teams. So, no, Jeff, I think it's sound advice, but I'm just I have one more week. That's it for me. So
I figure I'm going to get maybe 3 wins this year, so I'll try to
you're
battle.
getting 3 wins. Is that what you're saying?
I said that's what I'll end up with is 3 wins, but that's fine.
Hey, guess, do you remember how many wins away I am from 100 total? Am I 3 away or 4 away?
You are you and I are in a race because you're only a couple games ahead of me overall. You have 96 wins since 2006, and I have 97. Oh, I have one game over you.
All right, so I need 4 wins to take it to be the first team to win 100 games in our league, huh?
Right. Yo, you know what? That's the reason I shouldn't quit. It's just to get to 100 wins first.
Yeah, exactly. You have a reason to play here.
Okay, yeah. No, I just was rejuvenated just thinking about that.
Go back
I
to
might
your
trade my
game.
first round pick this week for somebody.
Yes, put your game up again. Can I see that?
You want to see my game?
Your matchup. You're playing. Who the hell are you playing?
I'm playing the Smuffs. We're both 0-2. It's an ugly looking game.
Yeah, it's an ugly one, but let me look at that.
You can win this game.
I know I can. I could have won last week too. I actually looked at my
Why don't you
lineup.
put
If I would have
Tannehill
put in
in?
Ryan Tannehill and
Why
not
don't you
Quintez
put
Cephas or
Tannehill?
whoever that dude was, maybe I had a chance.
Who's Tennessee playing?
Tennessee is playing Minnesota.
Oof.
Why don't you put Tannehill in?
I keep saying this. I always just start with projections. I know it doesn't really mean anything. And I change it up usually at the last minute. But
Who's Wentz throwing to?
My projections haven't meant shit, Gus. I've been
Who's in
favored to win for
Philadelphia?
2 weeks. I've got my ass kicked.
right.
Who's the wide receivers for Philadelphia?
Well, I know there's Ertz, there's
Jalen
Godare, there's Miles Sanders. Jalen Rager.
Rager.
Right, the
Ertz,
rookie.
Goddard. Deshaun Jackson is out, right? He's still out.
I don't know. Is he really out? Did he get injured already?
Well, I know Alshon Jeffrey's hurt. I don't know how bad he's out. But by
I
the
think
way,
Alshon
speaking of
Jeffrey's on a
wide
different
receivers-
team now.
Who?
I think Alshon Jeffrey's on a different team now.
Is he?
Yeah, he
Oh,
is.
well,
Yeah, he's not there anymore.
well, there you go. That's what preparation will do for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing Wentz out there. I keep thinking that's the same theory you might have with Daniel Jones. Like, maybe it's garbage time now. Maybe that's what he's going to be good for, but I don't know. I might really change it to Tannehill this week. But
Minnesota
Anyway.
sucks.
enough about my team and just whatever. So, if anyone has anything else, David, you want to chime in with anything this week?
I'm good, yo.
Well, good luck on writing your paper or whatever. Are you a senior this year? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Thanks, man.
You have a senior project or design project you have to do?
Nah, I got to do student teaching full time, so that's basically it.
Oh, okay. School's in the AISD?
I don't know. It'd be there or Irving. I'm not real sure.
Okay.
They keep it really close to the chest for whatever reason.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder if COVID makes it kind of weird this year.
Yeah, it'll probably all be online, more than likely. So
Interesting. But yeah, good luck with that, man. And
thanks, man.
good luck to the rest of y'all this week in your matchups. I think David's the only clear one that could win easily. So,
Same to you, Gus. Thank you.
yeah. All right, y'all.
All right, y'all.
Have a good
There you
one.
go.
Later.
All right, bye.
Bye.